starter.
Yeah, and Nader, to a certain degree, is almost a starter, too. Actually, Nader, they're really good when Nader plays well this year. And to have those two guys come off the bench along with Matt Thomas is certainly it really helps their team.
Iowa State starts with the ball here in the second half. They ended the first half on an 8-0 run. And George Niang took that shot.
Yeah, they went right to George, who has been red hot behind the arc. I think that ball was deflected short of the rim.
It spins off to Taylor, and Hogue couldn't handle it. Out of bounds to Texas.
Texas has two advantages on offense from what we've seen in 20 minutes. They have pounded the offensive glass, and their guards have gotten into the lane. Remember, this is the 5th game that Rick Barnes has used the 3-guard offense to start with.
Texas needs to get it going offensively. They've missed one. Made one of their last 8 shots, now one of their last 9. So it's a real cool streak here for the Longhorns.
Iowa State, on the other hand, so much balance in that half-court offense.
Skipped out to Hogue for 3. Now he can do a little bit of everything, inside, outside, rebounds, does everything.
He does everything, and that was a great design by Fred Hoiberg. He created an ISO with Niang and Ridley, and Niang was able to get into the paint.
That 3 ball is off as Yancy comes up empty.
Okay, there are a few better in the country at designing an offense than Fred Hoiberg is.
Still no points for Jameel McKay in this game.
Usually he gets his play on tip-ins, rim runs, trying to make post moves today over Ridley. It's not been effective.
Here's Yancy. He had 8 in the first half. Taylor feeds Yancy again.
Well, they don't let the ball come to the middle easily in pick and roll defense.
Alfred Holmes, he's also scoreless in this game. Shot clock goes to 5. Taylor has to hurry, puts up a 3, and he got it, falling down.
Well, Yancy looked up at the clock, panicked a little bit because it got down to 5. He handed it off to Isaiah Taylor. Not necessarily the most accurate three-point shooter, but he's made 2 today.
First field goal for Texas in about 5 minutes of game clock. Hogue will try this corner, comes up short, bounces around, and McKay able to get the offensive board. Back to Hogue, he attacks, and he's hit over the back.
And that's what McKay does. Take a look now at that last offensive possession by Texas. Shot clock running down, so Taylor's just got to get a good clean look up. He does. Knocks it down. Boy, Morris drives to the paint, and he knows where all of his bailouts are. He's got the dump off for the dunk inside for McKay. He's got Hogue spotted up in the deep corner.
The thing about Monte Morris, and we talked about his defense that's probably underrated, but his outside shooting has really started to pick up as the season has gone on. He had 4 threes a week ago in the game you and I did.
He did.
Against West Virginia.
Yeah, that's important because of his ability to get to the paint. That's not his strength necessarily, and he doesn't force a lot of threes. Fred Hoiberg spends a lot of time with his guys in that practice gym, and he's working on individual development. It's almost a great way to psychologically connect with his players as well as working on their games.
Yancy in the paint.
Yeah, so Yancy needs to shoot that ball.
Holmes misses. Wrigley taps it out, and Yancy corrals it to feed it to the point guard.
Yeah, if he gets into that high paint area off the dribble and there's no one there, he needs to shoot it because Texas has the requisite size to go ahead and crash the offensive glass.
And an empty possession for Texas as McKay corrals it.
You look at this team right now for Iowa State, you got 4 scorers, and McKay, who can clean up a miss if Niang misses it.
Niang now with 5. He was especially good against that zone in the first meeting. We haven't seen that Texas zone much here today.
And that's the reason why they shredded that 2-3 zone in the early part of that first meeting, because Niang basically played like a point guard in the middle of the lane.
Hogue quick hands, couldn't get the steal as Taylor got it back. 15 to shoot. Yancy leaning in, got it.
Yeah, so that's what he's got to do. He's got to attack the paint with the idea that he's going to shoot it first And if the defense reacts, he can dump it off then, but he's got to stay aggressive that way. Much improved Kendall Yancy over the last part of this Texas season, and only a sophomore.
Coming off 14 at Oklahoma. As Niang is starting to heat up, he's now at 7.
Slower is better when it comes to George Niang. He takes his time and he surveys.
Going to foul here on Iowa State is Kendall Yancy. Feeling confident. He's been more consistent as of late. And Texas still down in this game by 7.
Auburn battles undefeated #1 Kentucky tonight at 7 on ESPN.
Behind every victory is someone who helped make it happen. Call them mentors, coaches, or even mom or dad. At Northwestern Mutual, we call them advisors. The right financial partners to help you tap into strengths you might not even know you have and guide you where you want to be financially and personally. Because no one wins alone. You and Northwestern Mutual, stronger together.
I may be a pizza maker, but I know a few things about dessert, like chocolate and more chocolate.
Introducing Papa John's new double chocolate chip brownie. Delicious, decadent, served warm for just $6.
Better ingredients, better brownie. Papa John's.
If you're running a business, LegalZoom has your back. Over the last 10 years, we've helped 1 million business owners get started. Visit LegalZoom today for the legal help you need to start and run your business. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
I once convinced a man that an empty warehouse was the Federal Reserve. So I'm good. But you might be one of the best I've ever seen.
I know you're doing something big. I want in.
What makes you think you can trust her?
We're so screwed.
What the? Focus. Rated R. Experience it in IMAX.
What's this? A box. It takes worn out things and makes them better. Want to see? Yeah. Cool. What else you got?
It's our biggest breakthrough yet. We're taking worn-out batteries and making them into something strong. New Energizer Eco Advanced. World's first long-lasting battery made with recycled batteries. That's positive energy.
Iowa State has its biggest lead at 7, and Fred Hoiberg has designed a pretty offense. Take us inside the play.
Well, this is the first real set play of the second half. Here's George Niang. Now watch how they isolate him on the wing versus Ridley. They throw it back, and right now, it's freeze it, guys. He knows he can beat Ridley. He's lifted these two teammates high. So now if the weak side defender helps, there's going to be a kick out 3. He can either go to the basket, watch him drive it, now the kick, and Ho gets the easy shot from the corner because of the mismatch they had with Niang being guarded by Cam Ridley. Well designed.
Niang really is the Rosetta Stone of that whole thing because he's a big who can handle the ball. Right?
Amazingly versatile. One of the most versatile players in college basketball on the offensive end. Maybe the most versatile, really, when you size it all up.
Connor Lambert back in there for Texas now, number 51. Ian Turner in the front court, and he passes to Turner, who hammers it down.
Once again, that baseline penetration has given the Cyclones a little difficulty. That ball just barely got through. Good catch by the freshman and finish. He kept that ball high.
4 now for the 6'11 freshman. There's a good feed from Lambert. John Jones on the baseline, floated it up there, didn't go. And Yancy runs it down. It's a 2-on-1. He'll take it himself.
Really nice step through. Little Euro move right there by Kendall Yancy. You'll love his energy.
Morris for 3, trying to quiet the crowd.
That's so big. So big because the defense went under. He recognized that he was able to get that 3 off behind the screen. That's what great point guards do. They read the situation. And he's got to be able to do that to complement all the other good things he does offensively.
It's his first three-point basket. He alluded to that earlier. Another area of his game that's underrated. Good defense there by the Clones.
Well, the Clones are really packing it in. You'll watch now. Watch how many. Watch the maroon jerseys. Look at that. So that's the right color.
Are they going to count that? No, they will not.
I want you to watch this, Clay. This is really good recognition. Now watch the defense. Freeze the guys when he goes under. Right there. See, he's got the room right there because the defender goes under, and he winds up shooting a rhythm three behind the arc.
McKay's going to go to the bench with his second foul. And he has been scoreless tonight, averaging 16 points, 9 rebounds since becoming a starter. This is his 5th game as a starter, but he's been very quiet tonight for Iowa State.
No, he has. But that, you know, it's a lot of times it's by design, Play, because they have so many guys that can score. Sometimes it's not going to be your night. There's not enough shots out there.
Here's Taylor, no. And he's hammered. And Isaiah Taylor will go to the free throw line after that foul by Monte Morris, number 2 on Morris. It's actually his third. Morris now in foul trouble with 3.
There's one thing that Iowa State does not have in their rotation. It's a backup for Monte Morris. Now keep in mind, we mentioned earlier that Iowa State is one of the least foulingest teams in the country.
So Isaiah Taylor makes it a 4-point game with 13:40 to play here in Austin. Niang for 3.
Got to get help from the weak side on a pick and pop. You cannot just play 2-on-2. That's too easy. That's easily designed by Fred Hoiberg. And we mentioned that Niang has been over 50% the last 13 games behind the arc. That's really well done.
Turnaround for Turner, doesn't go, and trying to follow it was Holmes with a slam and out of bounds to Iowa State.
Now if it's me, I just tip that ball in instead of trying for the hero dunk. But a good turnaround shot by Turner, not making it today, but I like the way he's playing on the offensive end. Anytime you get a guy like Niang that's a pick and pop guy, you need to help. Like right here, you got to help from the weak side. That time they threw it away.
And another turnover from Morris, very rare. And there is the dunk by Jonathan Holmes. Those are his first points of the game.
And what you like that Texas did on that same exact pick and pop play was they crowded the middle of the floor.
Niang directing traffic, goes to work, kicks it to the corner for Thomas, 10 to shoot. Very good defense by Texas as Taylor knocks it out of bounds.
One of the things that Miles Turner does very well is he doesn't leave his feet until the very last minute, and that's why Niang tried to bait him into fouling, and Turner stayed down because he can afford to with that 7'4" wingspan.
Shot clock winding down. Nader, beautiful move in the lane, but nothing to show for it. And Lammert able to get it for Texas. Lammert went inside. Turner got it at his feet, missed the shot short. And there's Niang to clear it. Dijon Jones got his own miss.
Good no call right there. He stayed vertical.
They're letting him play, that's for sure. Dijon Jones in free flight. Look out.
Now, that's a really good no call on the other end because Taylor took it right with the defender, and the defender just stayed vertical, hands to the ceiling. He initiated the contact, and they didn't give it to him. That's good officiating on that particular play.
Dijon Jones right at his season average of a dozen.
Well, I think he can play freer as their sixth man because they need him to come off the bench. And he almost has the green light play offensively. And who wouldn't want that on this team? See how they shrink. Everybody in the lane. It looks like zone. But it's just a packed-in man. Good move. He hasn't made that shot, Turner, but he gets that ball off very quickly.
He's got 4 here since halftime.
I bet that ball was in his hands less than a split second.
And Nader sees that one rattle off. He's without any points in this one. And Yancy's going to wait for reinforcements.
Yeah, see, I'd go back at Niang again with Turner because Niang's not going to challenge that shot. You just got to put the ball in a position on the wing where they can find him. See, I think you should go back to the freshman.
Instead, it's Yancy taking that jump shot, and he's fouled. He'll be on the line when we come back. It is a 5-point lead for Iowa State.
Well, Bryce DeJean-Jones, we talked about him accepting his role as their sixth man. Gives you high energy, and he's a high flyer. That's huge for Fred Hoiberg and his club.
This President's Day, pay a little and get a lot at Rent-A-Center. Right now, get an Ashley sofa and love seat set, your choice of color and fabric for just $19.99 a week, with delivery and setup included. Pay a little at a time, only at Rent-A-Center.
I'm type E. I know what my money is doing. I rebalanced my portfolio on my phone. You know what else I can do on my phone? Place trades, get free real-time quotes, and teleport myself to Aruba. I wish.
Spray this, drive that, wear this, shave that.
Be a man.
If you need to be told how to be a man, Taco Bell's triple steak stack isn't for you. Steak, steak, and more steak with cheese. Only at Taco Bell.
Introducing a PM pain reliever that dares to work all the way until the AM. New Aleve PM, the only one to combine a safe sleep aid plus the 12-hour strength of Aleve.
Hi, I'm Rob Lowe, and I have DirecTV. And I'm poor decision-making Rob Lowe, and I have cable. With DirecTV, if you tune in late to a show, you can just restart it from the beginning. I'm going to miss my show. This shady drifter wants to borrow my car.
Oh, man, if they only knew, I don't know.
Even if I don't get home in time, with DirecTV, I just restart my show. I just ate this tuna sandwich I found on the bus. Don't be like this, me. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
I found an apartment.
Right on the water.
Amazing views.
It was perfect.
This is the place.
There's just one little problem.
It's got everything.
I barely get a signal, so I can't download videos or stream music.
I don't have that problem. I'm on Verizon.
I'm not. Sometimes I get a signal if I hold my shower curtain rod with one hand, but not always.
Join us and save without settling on the largest, most reliable network.
Here's Bracketology, brought to us by Allstate. Joe Lenardi will be featured all next week in games in studio and on SportsCenter as part of Bracket Builder Week. He has 7 teams from the Big 12 in right now, including Texas as a projected 8 seed. But as you mentioned at the top, they're kind of backing their way into the tournament right now.
No question about it. This is a critical game today, a home game against a ranked team. Their next 2 will be at West Virginia and Kansas, and then they'll close the season at home with Baylor and Kansas State. Fred Hoiberg, he still has visions of catching Kansas, who goes to Kansas State on Monday night. Always a tough game for the Jayhawks. Kansas State blistered today in Waco, 69-42 by a Baylor team that has continued to be one of the more underrated teams in the country.
And how about Oklahoma getting all they can handle from Texas Tech today in Lubbock? That went to overtime, but the Sooners did win it. They've now won 7 of their last 8.
Right. No surprise that you go to Lubbock and struggle, which has become a very tough place to play. Tubby Smith, the Hall of Fame coach, eventually. Lots of good young players on that roster.
4-point lead for Iowa State. Just over 10 minutes to play. Niang charges in and scores with the right hand.
And what did he do again out of a timeout? They isolated him on the other wing this time, and he was able to get to the lane. That's really, really good offensive basketball.
Well, he has played well here in the second half. He now has 12 and 3 at the break.
play Iowa State, your assistant coaches, if you're the opponent, you have to remind your head coach what they could run coming out of a timeout, because and you can track that too over the course of the year. But you know, Fred Hoiberg has a playbook in his office that's got like 500 new plays. He collects them like butterflies. He'll watch NBA games, other college games, and he'll keep those plays in his file. There's that ISO again.
And Yang doesn't hit the three. As the sophomore Taylor.
There's another foul. That time on McKay, because Ridley's doing a good job of getting to the glass.
And that's number 3 on Jameel McKay. There are the standings in the Big 12. And we're going to see Kansas right after us. They're at home hosting TCU today. And Oklahoma did beat Texas Tech earlier today, so they're the second Big 12 team to 10 conference wins.
Yep, and last I checked, West Virginia in Stillwater in a dogfight with the Cowboys. It was at halftime. I think that score was tied. You know, it may not be the best league in the country at the top. There's Yancy again. Boy, it's impressive. That hard work has really paid off, but you know, the fact that these teams are so rugged, 6 of the 10 coaches are Final Four coaches, and I'm not saying it's the best basketball you've ever seen, but every night you can get beat, no matter where you go.
All right, Naz Long took advantage of a seam in the defense and scores. And Iowa State just keeping Texas at arm's length. Kendall Yancy, you mentioned it, Fran. He has really improved and fast here in recent weeks. He now is at a career-high 15 points.
Yeah, how about that? He tied a career high on Tuesday night, I believe, up in Norman with 14. See, this Iowa State team offensively, they're a juggernaut. The reason Naz Long got all the way to the rim is because the spacing is so good in their offense, because everybody's a threat to score. You know, when you hear coaches, Clay, talk about spacing, you can't have spacing if you have players who can't make shots. And Iowa State has a lot of guys that can make shots.
Get them in spades, you're right. Long, reckless throw there, but McKay got it, spins in the lane, nothing to show for it. And Texas will come back down 5 with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, see, McKay's doing things he's not really good at in terms of playing one-on-one. Especially because the freshman Turner, we pointed out, he's pretty savvy for a young guy leaving his feet.
There's Holland for 3 off the heel. McKay not scoring, but he's still rebounding.
Well, that's what he should do. He's a little winded because he normally sprints the floor. And this game's flying by. I like the way the pace of this game has gone. Teams have been pretty good offensively.
Thomas! He has been outstanding today. That is his 3rd 3 of the game, and a timeout called by Texas.
That's the Thomas they recruited 2 years ago, a top 100 player.
Right now at Burger King, get 10 chicken nuggets for just $1.49. No, wait, is that really right?
Yep, it says it right there. $1.49, 10 nuggets, limited time only.
All right. They're crispy and golden on the outside, made with white meat on the inside. Get more your way, only at Burger King.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, where's the blimp?
I tied it to a tree outside. What's up?
Well, we were hoping that you'd be on board with maybe a flyover over our big softball game.
Playing Bristol Mutual Savings and Loan.
I would love to help you guys out, but I'm booked that day.
We didn't say what day.
Mm-hmm. Well, what day? Thursday?
Oh. Thursday.
Thursday's bad.
Maybe Tuesday?
Tuesday's bad, too.
The New England Patriots have won the Super Bowl. Celebrate with Sports Illustrated's Premium Championship Package, free with your paid subscription. This package includes the Patriots collectible football with its certificate of authenticity, designed exclusively for SI. It shows scores from the Patriots' entire championship season, plus this limited edition hardcover book featuring SI's renowned writing and photography commemorating the Patriots' amazing season. Go to SIChampoffer.com or call now to get all of this free with your paid subscription to SI. 56 issues for only $1.59 each. Save over 65% off the cover price. As a bonus, use your credit card, and you'll also get the Patriots Performer Jacket. Celebrate the New England Patriots victory with a collectible football, the SI commemorative book, and the Performer Jacket. This championship package is available only from Sports Illustrated. Order now, and your shipping is free. Go to SIChampoffer.com or call now.
Jamie Sire and Andy Katz in studio with an update. This game over on ESPN, Louisville and Miami. Sheldon McClellan there with the lay-in. And Miami was giving Louisville a lot of trouble, but they're kind of getting back into it.
Louisville showed a lot of fight here toward the last couple of minutes. Kind of an edgy game that we've seen on ESPN. And Bob Huggins, the best director, according to one Oscar aficionado, Fran Fraschilla, getting it done.
A reminder coming up next here on ESPN2. It is TCU and Kansas. That game tips around 4 p.m.
That's right, Mr. Katz. Neil Patrick Harris, you can eat your heart out, right, Fran?
Yeah, right now he's making me look good because they're leading up at Stillwater. About 12 minutes to go, West Virginia. What a great turnaround by the Mountaineers. It's not the hardest playing team in college basketball. Certainly, I haven't seen anybody that plays any harder.
8-point lead for Iowa State, their biggest of the game, but there is Kendall Yancy adding to his career high.
Yesterday after practice, he spent 30 minutes with one of the managers, and he went to spot by spot around the three-point line. He's put a lot of extra time in. When he was in high school, he never had to shoot the three. Wow. Boy, this guy is on fire.
He is now 4 of 6 from outside the arc. Matt Thomas off the bench.
Well, they've sizzled today behind the arc. It's interesting. We think of Iowa State as a three-point shooting team because they've been so prolific under Fred Hoiberg. They came in shooting only 36% behind the arc.
Career high for points for Thomas.
Solid defense by Hogue. He never left his feet. I was going to say, Texas doesn't have a turnover in the second half play. And they've actually played pretty good basketball, but they've been kept at bay because of Iowa State's offense.
Bijan Jones flips it back out for Naz Long. He'll try a three, and Iowa State can't miss from out there
Can't guard them right now. Can't guard them. Dribble penetration. Drive and drift. That's what we call it. They do it as well as anybody.
Timeout Texas. They have 2 remaining. Iowa State now 6 of 8 from 3 in the second half.
There you see the numbers red hot. They came into the second half pretty hot. A lot of guys made shots, and they picked up right where they left off. Hogue first. Monte Morris behind the screen. Niang. That was a set play. Pick and pop. And then Matt Thomas, who's really been on fire today. And they're all well designed. There you see the numbers.
Shooting 57% from outside the arc here today. And to remind you, Big Monday presented by Verizon on ESPN has number 12 Louisville in Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech in the ACC at 7, followed by in-state Big 12 rivals number 8 Kansas in Manhattan to take on K-State at 9. You're going to be there for that one.
Yep.
All part of Bracket Builder Week presented by Dish. Kansas State, one of the remaining games that will challenge KU. They also going to host West Virginia, of course. Kansas lost in Morgantown earlier in the year, and they have to go to Norman yet. So
yep, exactly. Last game of the season.
Kansas doesn't have an easy road the last few games.
That's why if you're Iowa State, you just got to take care of your own business and win as many of these games as you can. Hope that Kansas falters.
Strong, but tracked down by Yancy, and Texas will reset. It's an 11-3 run here for Iowa State. They got their biggest lead of the game. Taylor knifing in.
Pretty move, good ball movement. Matt Thomas, only his 3rd game in Big 12 play with double-figure scoring numbers. And they keep, look at that, they keep running plays for him.
And he was fouled. He'll get 3 free throws. Matt Thomas drawing the contact from long range. And with 5 minutes to go, Iowa State trying to pull away here in Austin.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots.
Schick Extreme 3. 3 flexible blades that uniquely adapt to any contour for extreme comfort for every possible angle. Schick Extreme 3. Free your skin.
Dave & Buster's is the only place on the planet with new food, new drinks, and the hottest games like the all-new Star Wars Battle Pod. Hurry in to the only place to play it and play one of these 3 games free. Dave & Buster's.
So, that hostel you found on Booking.com turns the last night of your trip into the first day of the rest of your life. In that perfectly selected romantic chateau, words escape you. Luckily, she doesn't. 9 months later, responsibilities. 2 of them. You take them to an eco-lodge to become one with nature. And they do. But there's a story inside you. So you check into this log cabin where inspiration strikes. Each booking success propels you to even greater heights. Launching your masterpiece at a Tokyo 5-star hotel. Reconnecting at a tropical paradise that shouldn't exist, but does. Soaring above this castle resort with your father-in-law, who finally seems to like you. Life can be like that when you get it booking right. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Matt Thomas, the outside shooter, sophomore from Wisconsin. Hot and cold this year. He's certainly hot today.
Well, this is great coaching right here because this young man, he's only got 8 made threes in Big 12 play. Once he started feeling it early, this is what makes Fred Hoiberg such a great coach. He understands the psychology of shooting, and what he's done down the stretch here is he's running plays for a guy that he knows needs that confidence. Naz Long doesn't need any confidence. George Niang doesn't need any confidence. But if you get this guy going and making shots like he did in high school, watch out.
An embarrassment of riches is what it'll be. The 6th man of the game, Matt Thomas, 14 points, ties a career high. And that is presented by Motel 6.
Tell you what, it's been a big day for Iowa State and their staff as well. Assistant coach Cornell Mann, he got engaged last night. He's been a lieutenant for Fred Hoiberg 4 years now. Last night, he proposed to Carrie Ann Hernandez. She's from Dallas, and she said yes. And so I don't know, maybe the shooting and the good vibes of feeling, you know, it's that kind of year. I think a good timing to get engaged when the team's red hot.
Everybody's feeling pretty good right now. Yeah, and they might get their 2nd straight road win in conference play, the first time since 06.
2006, Nebraska and Missouri, 2 teams that aren't even in the league anymore. But you talk about a guy that understands offense as well as anybody in the country. It's Fred Hoiberg.
3 free throws for Thomas, and he got 1 of 3. And the lead is 10 for Iowa State. Isaiah Taylor to Felix. And he just hasn't had it today from long range. He hit 4 of 4 from 3 in Ames, but today he's been a non-factor.
He has been hot and cold this year, and he's the one guy that over the course of the season has consistently made those jump shots. And he's had good looks today. And right now, Iowa State changing the tempo a little bit.
Hogue attacks those 2 bigs and scores. Boy, that's impressive.
How about that? They used about 20-25 seconds of the shot clock, knowing that they had the ISO for Hogue all along.
And now the foul on the floor against Taylor on Iowa State.
Nobody better at putting his players in an ISO. Look at that, one-on-one to the rim, pump fake. Remember we mentioned earlier how good he is at landing on that 2-foot stop. This guy right here, I'm just telling you, as underrated as a player as there is in the Big 12.
58% field goal shooter. That's second in the Big 12. But not all of his shots are around the rim like that last one. He's a great outside shooter.
You know, last year he was even a better rebounder because they needed him to do that. Not as much this year. Junior college transfer from Yonkers, New York. Had no Division I scholarships before he headed out to Indian Hills in Ottumwa, Iowa.
John Jones, that last foul. So Texas in the bonus. They're at the line the rest of the way. Can't count Texas out just yet. There's 4-13. It doesn't look good right now. But remember, Iowa State had a 21-point second-half lead in Ames, and Texas clawed its way back.
They did. In fact, you know, I'm surprised we haven't seen any full-court pressure from Texas because they utilized it really well in Ames. And not only did they make 10 threes in the second half, but they turned Iowa State over in that comeback.
21 points for the sophomore. And here's that pressure you alluded to, Frank.
eBay on the ball, very active.
And Morris is fouled as he comes over the timeline. That's on DeMarcus Holland.
Right, and that's only Texas's 4th team foul, so they can stay aggressive.
Texas was hoping to get its 3rd win over a top 25 opponent here today. They got some work to do, trying to come back 10 down. And there's Felix with another foul. And it's going to be team foul number 5. They got a couple of top 25 wins early in the season, Fran, that looked good at the time. They beat Iowa. They also beat UConn, the defending national champions. Those wins aren't quite as impressive as they were in November.
No, exactly. And yet their strength of schedule and their RPI, DPI is still really high. At this point, they're going to be backing themselves in. I'm surprised they're fouling. I know why they're fouling. They're trying to get to the bonus, but you don't want to make this a free throw contest, I don't think.
Iowa State, double-digit lead here in Austin as we go under 4 minutes to play, trying to get their 2nd straight win on the road.
Thank you for being a sailor and my daddy. Thank you, Mom, for protecting my future.
Thank you for being my hero and my dad.
Military families are thankful for many things. The legacy of USAA Auto Insurance could be one of them. Our world-class service earned USAA the top spot in a study of the most recommended large companies in America. If you're current or former military or their family, see if you're eligible to get an auto insurance quote.
Jane's wearing Martha Washington's inaugural gown to prove you can wear anything while pouring our thicker formula bleach. Freedom from splashing. Revolutionary whitening. The liberating line of Clorox splashless bleach.
Pizza is perfect. Pizza with bacon cheeseburger on it, way, way more perfect.
The new Bacon Cheeseburger Pizza with hickory smoked bacon, beef, dill pickle, and signature burger sauce. A large for just $12.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Check out all these airline seats. Lots of them, right? But when you try to get one by using your travel rewards card miles, those seats mysteriously vanish. Why? All the flights you want are blacked out, or they hit you up for some outrageous number of miles. Switch to the Venture card from Capital One. With Venture, use your miles on any airline, any flight, anytime. No blackout dates. And with every purchase, you'll earn unlimited double miles. Now we're getting somewhere. What's in your wallet?
The only thing that brought Hollywood A-listers and record-breaking headline makers together in the #1 entertainment event of last year were these 5 words.
And the Oscar goes to...
And only at the Oscars can you see Eddie Murphy, Margot Robbie, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, John Legend and Common, Tim McGraw, Adam Levine, and Scarlett Johansson all together on one spectacular night.
It's the Oscars. Imagine what's possible.
Neil Patrick Harris hosts the Oscars. Live Oscar Sunday on ABC.
Jamie Sire and Andy Katz in studio with this Buick Studio update. Miami and Louisville. Sheldon McClellan, as this one is a 3-point game now with about 5 minutes to go.
Jamie, I don't understand this. It's beautiful in Miami, yet the Canes love playing on the road. They love getting out of Miami. They play much better on the road.
We'll figure. I'll go to Miami. Kelly Oubre Jr. getting ready to go. Last 2 games, 16 points. Kansas and TCU coming up right after this.
All right, Jamie, yeah, we're looking forward to that one. Little Lawrence, how about Miami? If they could beat Louisville today, that would sure take some of the doubt that's surrounding that program right now. They're in a little bit of trouble. Here are the Big 12 remaining games that you feel are key.
Yeah, absolutely. Texas has got to find a way. If they can't pull this one out, they certainly have to go to Morgantown. Tough place to play. They won easily last year. Oklahoma, Iowa State. Hey, Kansas, Oklahoma at the end of the regular season. That'll be senior day in Norman. An awfully big game. It could mean something in terms of the top of that league, depending on how Kansas finishes. Right now, Texas is just in scramble mode. When you have George Niang out there, you got another point guard.
Dijon Jones went in for the slam and was fouled. He'll be on the line.
We've seen this with Iowa State playing West Virginia this year. Take a look. When you have George Niang out there as a power forward, he is your de facto second point guard because he's such a good passer versus pressure.
Iowa State 4 of 10 at the line here in this game today. They shot 38 free throws in the first meeting in Ames, hit 25 of them. And most of those makes came down the stretch, which helped them preserve the win.
Yeah, exactly. That was when Texas was in that full court pressure scramble mode like we're seeing right here.
Those are big makes there. 69-57, Cyclones by 12. 3.5 to play in Austin.
Watch out. Iowa State shrinks the floor right now. You've got a lot of jerseys in there. Daring Texas to shoot threes.
Tonight at 7 Eastern, the pursuit of perfection continues for #1 Kentucky as John Calipari's Wildcats take on Auburn. And we're going to head west with the Pac-12 matchup between #7 Arizona and UCLA. Rivalry week presented by Wendy's.
We got a chance to see Stanley Johnson, the outstanding Wildcat freshman in Maui. I watched him a lot in high school, and he's still trying to figure it out. Overall, he's had a sensational freshman year for Sean Miller. Likely to be a one-and-done guy, maybe a top 10 pick. Built like Ron Artest. And he's become a key factor for Arizona down the stretch.
I want to talk to you about the other Wildcats, Kentucky. The argument's been lobbied, here the last week or so that Kentucky might be well served if they drop one before the tournament. What's your feeling on that?
If you know John Calipari, he's thinking history. He's thinking, hey, there's no question 40-0 is on his mind. It was on his mind last year when they had those goofy T-shirts made. 40-0. Hopefully they saved them because now it's a more realistic possibility. And the interesting thing about Kentucky is the minute they go 40-0, if that is the case, John, knowing him, will start talking about 80-0.
Right.
Because he needs to have a challenge.
Well, the Kentucky Wildcats are taking Auburn tonight. Head coach Bruce Pearl. Remember, Bruce Pearl beat Cal's Memphis team when they were undefeated when he was the head coach of Tennessee.
Yeah, at Tennessee. Now he's at Auburn with less talent. Now, Arkansas could be problematic because Arkansas is playing very well and they beat Kentucky at Rupp last year. But this is obviously a different Kentucky team.
Jameel McKay, who's been shooting about 500 free throws per day. Really working hard on that aspect of the game. It's 1 of 2. His first point, and there is a 3. And Texas trying to hang around. Kendall Yancy has been completely on fire today. 26 points, a career high.
Yeah, it's amazing. The sophomore from Dallas, he actually committed to USC when Kevin O'Neal was the head coach. Kevin O'Neal was fired. Texas had an extra scholarship, and when you look at this kid, Texas right now is struggling. They are. There's no question about it. But for the most part, this is a very young basketball team with 2 key recruits coming in next year. And if they can get guys like Holland and Yancy to continue to step up their game, it bodes well. I love this kid because watching him in high school, he couldn't do what he's doing right now. And he's really improved because he's worked at it.
If the Big 12 tournament started today, this is how it would look. And that's why this game was so important for Texas. Right now, they would have to play that first-round game against the likes of a Texas Tech.
No question. That means they'd have to go 4 straight days if they got to the final. You'd like to stay out of that Wednesday game if you can. For Iowa State, you not only want to try to catch Kansas in the regular season, but you want to try to ensure that you don't meet them until the championship game of the Big 12, which would be great theater in Kansas City. A place that absolutely loves the Big 12 tournament. It's going to be, the quarterfinals, Clay, are going to be unbelievable this year.
And again, we're going to see Kansas right after we're done here in Austin at home taking on TCU today. As that foul goes against DeMarcus Holland, and he is done. That is 5 on Holland. No second half points for the junior.
One of Texas's major problems in this bad run has been their outside shooting. Their offense actually has not been bad today. It's had good flow because they've made shots, but it's been their defense that's been problematic against this balanced Iowa State team.
Iowa State.
They're fun to watch.
They are. But we're seeing the depth of this team really come to the front. I mean, with the performance from Matt Thomas today, and Bryce Dijon-Jones, even though he was a starter early in the year, now coming off the bench, it adds a different twist, a different dynamic for the Cyclones. They just come at you in waves. And they're going to host Baylor on Wednesday. Be at Kansas State yet. They host Oklahoma and at TCU.
It's interesting because this guy's been pretty quiet the last 5 games. Came into today averaging a shade under 9 points a game. In his last 4, they don't really need him to be a big scorer with this balance.
Felix misses the floater. He has been scoreless today. And Niang, who has had a terrific second half, gets it to McKay, and McKay will go to the foul line. 10-point lead with 2:48 to go here in Texas. Tomorrow night, catch a SportsCenter special featuring an intimate conversation between living legends of modern-day trailblazers on challenges of the past and challenges still ahead. African-American trailblazers, past, present, and future, presented by Verizon Wireless tomorrow night at 7 Eastern on ESPN. 500 free throws per day. Jameel McKay knew that that was probably his weakest link, and he's trying to work on it.
Well, it's worked pretty well because coming into today, in his last 2, he was making about 78% of his shots. He went to the line 27 times the last 2 games.
He was 13 of, no, that one didn't, but he was 13 of 18 at the line in Stillwater the other night, and without him, they probably don't beat the Cowboys.
That's right.
Crunch time here for Texas. And Yancy has it rejected by McKay. Felix comes up with the loose ball. His shot doesn't go. Who's got it? He's going to stay on this end with Texas.
Justin Ho got popped in the jaw. And then once he saw that the ball was still out there, he went flying into that scrum. I like him because
he's a junkyard dog.
He's got a little Yonkers in him. He sure does. He's got a little New York City. Of course, Yonkers right on the edge of the Bronx. I watched him. That's a good floater. See, that's Isaiah Taylor's game. And right now, Texas is going to try to prolong this game for as long as possible. Turn this into a free throw contest, and they're going to force Iowa State to make their foul shots.
And we mentioned it before. That's what they did the first time around in Ames, especially down the stretch, and they're going to have to do it again here today. Bryce Dijon-Jones, 14 points. He's 3 of 4 at the line here today.
You know, one of the things Fred Hoiberg had to convince Bryce Dijon-Jones of is, hey, you were playing 26 minutes as a starter. I can still get you that many minutes, but I like Jameel McKay anchoring our defense. And when you come into the game, we want you to think offense.
That could be an interesting conversation. He's a senior transfer, came to Iowa State with the idea that he was going to be a starter, going to be one of the focal points of the offense. Asked to do that midseason. That had to be a difficult thing to take.
Well, you know why it's difficult? Because there's 3 letters on his name. NBA. Now, luckily, he's got a guy who has more NBA connections than anybody around. And there goes Yancy again. He is on fire. He's starting to look like A.J. Abrams. Former Texas guard who used to light it up in that same corner.
He's now 6 of 7 from 3, and that Texas pressure giving Iowa State some trouble.
Almost identical to the game in Ames when it looked like with 3 minutes to go, Iowa State had salted the game away. You know, Rick Barnes got this team to the bonus by fouling on purpose with about almost a little bit under 4 minutes, right? So it's paid off, and there you see the numbers from the first meeting.
And Texas scored 61 in the second half to make that interesting. And Felix fouling Long in the front court. And Long will be on the line. Long is a 72% foul shooter.
It's kind of interesting because you think of the way Naz Long shoots the 3 so effectively that a guy like that would be, you know, hovering around 80. Knowing the way he shoots the ball, I take my chances with that stroke.
No doubt. Here comes McKay back in for those defensive purposes you were talking about just moments ago.
Which means that every time he gets a defensive rebound, you foul him immediately.
And the lead goes back to 8 for Iowa State with 1:49 to play. A win here today for the Cyclones gives them 10.
See if Texas has a comeback offense right now. To me, it's got to be, see, that's too much time. Just spread the floor and let him go.
Taylor's foul. Taylor took it maybe on the head when he went down.
He went down holding his head. Monte Morris is holding his chin and jaw right now. Let's take a look. The foul occurred right there. So on the follow through. Ooh, there it is. Yep.
Now Monte Morris now with 4 personal fouls. And Taylor will be on the line here.
And you can't. Now, I don't think you can sub for the shooter. They're not going to sub for the shooter because if it's not a flagrant foul, the other coach would get to choose one of the 4 players on the floor instead of Taylor. So we've done away with the old fake injury routine. Not that that's happened here.
Jordan Barnett is going to check in for Texas. He hasn't played the last couple of games. Did not play against Iowa State in Ames the first go. And Felix comes out. Got to have these if you're Texas.
Yeah, no question. It not only do you shrink the score, but you get to set up your pressure as well. And you see that's why Jameel McKay has been taken out of the game.
2-possession game.
Once again, Fred Hoiberg doing offense, defense.
You see Iowa State, they led the entire second half. They've shot it well from 3, a season high 57% outside the arc. With that said, Texas is in this game late. And Iowa State's going to win this at the foul line, Frank.
You know what Thomas did right there? Instead of throwing it back to Morris, he played the percentages, got it over midcourt so he would get fouled. And he comes in shooting a shade under 80%. But it's interesting, he's only shot 19 free throws on the season.
So we got updated standings in the Big 12, Fran, and Iowa State trying to get to 10 to match Kansas, who's playing after us. And also Oklahoma, which beat Texas Tech in overtime today. They come right down to the wire in the Big 12.
Well, it's been a fun year. The balance has been unbelievable. And I love the idea that these teams meet twice. They all get to play each other twice. So you have a true regular season champion Matt Thomas keeps adding to a terrific day, doesn't he?
Well, he makes it an 8-point game. Thomas will sit down. 17 points.
See, I think you just create a driving lane. That's what you do. You don't need a ball screen. Just create a driving lane and let Isaiah Taylor do what he does best, and that is penetrate.
And we got a timeout here with a minute 29 to go. And that's the last timeout for Rick Barnes and Texas. Trying to get his 400th win at Texas here today. And his team's going to have to pull one out late for that to happen.
On the flip side, Iowa State with a good offensive scheme versus the pressure. They've got ball handlers out there. You know, interesting number in the last 2 years in games decided by 6 points or less, which is where we are right now. In the league, Fred Hoiberg is 11-3.
Yeah.
So he's got, he knows what he's doing, which is amazing when you think that this is his first head coaching job that he's ever had. And it's coming from the front office at Minnesota with the Timberwolves to back to his alma mater.
Meanwhile, Texas, they had their 3-game winning streak snapped at Oklahoma on Tuesday. They lost a close one by 2. 3 of their last 4 losses have been by 3 points or less. They're in another tight one here at home with Iowa State today.
And you know, that's how their season has gone. And that's how this league has been very unforgiving. You have to play your best most nights. And we talked about it. As of right now, they are backing into the tournament. They have to be careful they don't back their way out of the tournament over the next 4 games in Big 12 tournament play, because they are in danger of that.
Mentioned it before, Fred Hoiberg doesn't get criticized for much. There has been a little bit from the Iowa State fans about the lack of road success. Well, he has a chance to get Iowa State 2 road wins in back-to-back style for the first time since 06 in conference play.
And in fairness, the last 2 losses were at Oklahoma and at Kansas, and that's going to happen in this league. I don't think there are a lot of people complaining about Fred Hoiberg.
No, you're right. And Texas fans want a traveling call, but it's a foul instead against the Longhorns. I'm going to stay right here. Timeout.
And I think that they got the timeout before the foul, which means that the Iowa State will keep the ball. But now, since it's been inbounded, they cannot run the baseline.
Tournament resume for the Cyclones. See that RPI, very good. It's at 11. And Joe Lenardi, our bracketologist, projects that Iowa State, if the tournament were to start today, would be a 3 seed. They've got a lot of quality wins, just the one bad loss in Lubbock. But there are also some good wins to be had yet. I mean, they host Baylor on Wednesday. A game at home against Oklahoma would be another resume builder.
Yep, on Big Monday. That's going to be, I think, one of the crown jewels of our season on Big Monday. Just came off a great one with West Virginia beating Kansas in Morgantown.
So it is Iowa State ball. Texas out of timeouts with 1:25 to go. The Cyclones lead it by 6.
And remember, this is a spot throw-in, so Texas has got to be aware.
Morris can't move. He has to call a timeout. That was great analysis on your part.
Well, it's just, you know those things from coaching. And, you know, Monte Morris, to his credit, he didn't have anybody open. He didn't run the baseline, committed a violation. And he wisely just had the clock in his head to call timeout. When you're on the baseline play like that, oftentimes you can ask the official to give me a verbal count so I can hear you. And this way, you are listening for the count. And when you get to 4, you just call the timeout.
That Kansas game that we talked about, they're hosting TCU today, is ready to get underway right now in Lawrence. It's going to start on ESPN3 as soon as we're done here in Austin. We'll get you out to Allen Fieldhouse. TCU has improved vastly.
Well, and logically so, because Prince Johnson is now in his 3rd year, and, you know, they're playing off campus. They have been a thorn in the side of a number of Big 12 teams this year, as has Texas Tech and Southern Smith.
And Niang is fouled by Yancy quickly. Hardly any time rolls off the clock. 1:24 to go.
TCU coming off a win at home against Kansas State. The other day they were undefeated in non-conference play, including wins over Mississippi and Mississippi State. They're building their program. So is Texas Tech with a lot of young guys.
I saw the TCU-Kansas game in Fort Worth, and TCU nearly beat them, came down to the last shot.
Yeah, but that was a game that Kansas looked like they had salted away.
George Niang.
I describe this guy as the perfect college player because the high likelihood is he'll spend 4 years in Ames. He's way more productive than his high school teammate, Nerlens Noel, who was the #1 pick in the draft. And I say that because he's going to play 4 years, and Nerlens played just short of 1 full year. Well, steal.
Off the steal, Yancy for Felix. Hasn't hit a basket yet. He got the miss. Floats it up, and he finally scores.
Now we're getting interesting.
4-point game with just over a minute to play. And that's going to be a foul against Dijon Jones, who will come back to the other end to shoot.
Yeah, it looked like Yancy reached over. That was Isaiah Taylor. We can't see, but Taylor reached around, committed the foul, but they got a basket back because of the steal and the score by Felix. And after that steal, a lot took place, but then Felix able to make that layup at the rim. He scramble.
Taylor, Yancy, and Felix all with 4 fouls now.
If you're Texas here, you'd even take 1 of 2. Now you may get both. In this situation, you want to trade 3s for 2s, 3s for 1s, 2s for 1s. That's why you foul.
He got 1 of 2, and it's a 5-point game, 2-possession game with exactly 60 seconds to play.
Well, their best offense has been spread the floor for Taylor. He does not need a ball screen because then you bring a second defender into the action.
Texas can't stop the clock. No timeouts left. Taylor leans in. Rattles off, and there's Hope climbing up for the rebound. Are they going to call a jump ball? And the possession arrow will keep it down on this end.
Taylor made a great hustle play. He missed the floater, and he went right for the ball. This is great hustle. Hope came up with a big rebound. Now watch Taylor. Stay with Taylor because he's going to come right in right here and grab the ball without fouling. A heads-up play. Probably didn't realize he had the possession arrow. That didn't matter.
Taylor to trigger. Looking for an open man. Lobs it in and got it to Turner. Felix leans into a 3. No. And McKay able to grab it, and now he'll shoot.
Texas has given themselves chances to crawl back in this game, and they just can't make timely shots. I watched their practice yesterday, Clay, and they worked for about 20 minutes on these special situations, and sometimes the ball just doesn't go in.
Well, Javon Felix having one of those days. No points today. He scored a season-high 20 against Iowa State in Ames. He was 4 of 4 from 3. But nothing from outside the arc today.
That's a great free throw by a guy who has struggled at times this year, but as we have chronicled recently, started to make some big ones.
Those 500 free throws a day are paying off.
Yeah, especially when your coach is one of the best shooters to ever play college basketball.
Taylor slips through the defense and scores. He's been terrific in the second half. And another quick foul as it's still a 5-point game with 31 seconds to play.
You know, I mentioned this earlier. One of the great things about Fred Hoiberg being involved in their player skill development, stuff they do at practice, is that it's mental as much as it is physical. He's able to get close to his players because he actually spends a lot of time with them and not the assistants. When Bryce Dijon-Jones was taken out of the starting lineup, he spent all last week with him working on his game. Same thing with Matt Thomas. Same thing with Jameel McKay.
Iowa Iowa State has scored its last 18 points at the line. That one goes off for Niang. Still a two-possession game.
Probably need a 3 here.
Yancy. Short. Tip back out. And it's going to belong to the Cyclones with 19.4 to go.
Good idea by Connor Lammert. He just tried to maintain that possession. He just wasn't able to get a good piece of it and get it back to a teammate. Texas has done a lot of things right here in the second half in this comeback, but Iowa State has done more things right. They've been very well prepared for Texas's comeback game.
After a 5-game road losing streak, Iowa State on the cusp of winning 2 straight Big 12 road games. And Long will shoot.
You know, Clay, what you think about Iowa State.
18 seconds to go. We're going to get an update quickly from Jamie.
Yeah, guys, just wanted to let you know that the next game coming up here on ESPN2, it is TCU Kansas. They have tipped off. It's a 2-point game about 5 minutes into the first. You can see it over on ESPN3 for now.
Well, thanks, Jamie.
Well, when you think, Clay, about Fred Hoiberg and all the time he spent as an NBA player and then as an executive, and he played for some Hall of Fame coaches, the NBA is about special situations. You know, in late game plays and drawing up plays out of timeouts. And that's one of his specialties, and they have handled the pressure Texas has thrown at them in the last 4 minutes really, really well. They got the ball to the right people. They spread the floor. For the most part, they've made their free throws.
Leaders 8. Here comes George Niang. And Felix knocks it out of bounds with 6.8 to go. Iowa State is going to win 2 straight on the road in the Big 12 for the first time since 06.
Not easy to do. They've done it at Oklahoma State and at Texas. And they stay alive as they try to stay within striking distance of Kansas for the regular season Big 12 title.
Iowa State holds on to win in Austin, 85-77. They got the monkey off their back in Stillwater, and now this is